Yo guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be the finale video of the NBA 2021-2022 predictions videos I've been doing. Yeah, so this one is going to be the NBA 2021-2022 playoff predictions. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to predict the East and the West, and then the finals between the East and the West. Yeah, so we're going to do the East first in a second. Let me come back. Yes! So, like I said in the intro before, we are going to do the East first, and I'll just explain to you again how I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell you who's going to win the series, who's going to advance to the next round, and then what the rest of the East is going to be. Yeah. So I'm going to do it simply. So just tell you which team, who they're going to play against, which one's going to win. Yeah, for both conferences. So first, the first matchup would be the Nets in first and the Charlotte Hornets being in eighth. With this, you probably know the way this is going to go. The Nets are going to win this, but I personally think the Hornets are going to be able to take one win at home, which this will be hopefully LaMelo's first experience of playoff basketball. Yeah, but the Nets will just beat the Hornets like 4-1. The next one is the 76ers in fourth and the Chicago Bulls in fifth, which once again with this matchup, I thought this matchup could go either way, just because the Sixers at fourth, they would have the games at home first, I believe. Yeah, so that's why I've got the 76ers beating the Bulls to the next round, which it'll be a close series, could go either way if that happens. Yeah. So the next one is the Heat in third versus the Hawks in sixth, which, in my mind, the Hawks team has a possible team. They have a team that can just derail other teams' plans, but I don't think they'll be strong enough to do that against the Heat. So the last matchup of the series is the Milwaukee Bucks in second and the Celtics in seventh, which will be a truly interesting matchup if the Celtics are fit with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Enes Kanter, and I forgot who their new point guard is because they lost Kemba. Yeah, but the Bucks are going to probably maybe sweep that series. Yeah. So the next round is the Eastern Conference semi-finals, which, like I said before, the four teams that are in are the Nets, the 76ers, the Heat, and the Bucks. So that's going to be two solid semi-finals. So the first semi-finals would be the first placed Nets against the fourth placed 76ers, which I said this for the Bulls series. The Bulls series be the 76ers. This could go truly either way, but I think the Nets would just overpower the 76ers with their depth, and just KD will be KD, Harden will be Harden, minus the new rule that stops him from getting some free throws. Yeah, but the Nets will win that series like 4-2. Yeah. So the other one is the third placed Heat versus the second placed Milwaukee Bucks. Don't need to go into much detail for this. The Bucks are going to beat the Heat. So we've made it to the East Conference Finals, which it'll be between the first placed Nets and the second placed Bucks. This series, if it's anything like last season, it's going to be a wonderful series to watch if it happens. But I think the Nets are going to take the East Conference Finals in 7, just because they have more squad depth or more known players there, while the Bucks don't have as many. But it'll for sure be a good series. The Bucks might even be able to take that series, but I just think the Nets are too strong with Blake Griffin, Paul Millsap, LaMarcus Aldridge, Patty Mills, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving if he's there. Yeah, so that is why I have the Nets being the East Conference final winners. So we'll move on to the West. So we're at the West now. We'll not try and be as long as I was for the East. So like I did for the East predictions, I'm going to do the West round 1, the West Conference semifinals, and then the West Conference finals. And then I'll do the big finals in its own little minute. Yeah. So for the West round 1, I've got the Lakers in first, playing the Timberwolves in 8th, which I think this will possibly be a sweep for the Lakers. Depends how the team's going, because we're not playing too well in preseason so far. But yeah, it's possibly going to be a sweep. Depends. The Timberwolves can for sure definitely take a possible game here and there, but I think the Lakers will win that series outright. The next one is the 4th placed Suns versus the 5th placed Dallas Mavericks. The Suns, I don't think they will redo a miracle run from last season, it was a good run. I just don't think they will be able to do it again this year. Even though their team is still stacked with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and the whole team around them. But the Mavs, you've got another fully evolved Luka Doncic. He's basically gone from an amethyst to a diamond in like a season, in real terms. Yeah, so I think the Mavs are going to steal that series against the Suns, and the Mavs will keep going. So the next series is going to be the Jazz in 3rd versus the Golden State Warriors in 6th, which you probably are going to be shocked by what I'm going to say here. I think the Golden State Warriors are going to shock the Jazz and move on. Because by then Clay will be back, would have hopefully had some games under his belt. You've got Kevin Looney, you've got Iggy, you've got Steph. That Warriors team could be as good as they were before KD got there. So the last matchup in round 1 is the 2nd placed Denver Nuggets playing the 7th placed Los Angeles Clippers, which I think the Nuggets would win this series, probably not easily, but they would win that win like a 4-1, because maybe the Clippers would snag a win or two. Yeah, so the West Conference semifinals, we are here. The series are going to be the Lakers versus the Mavs and the Warriors versus the Nuggets. So let's do the Lakers and Mavs one first. I've got the Lakers beating the Mavs in this semifinals, it'll for sure be a close battle. I just think the Mavs will once again get overpowered by the Lakers' big 3 that they have of Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. And then the other players of DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, Carmelo. It's like, that Lakers team is stacked. If it was probably 10 years ago, that team would be probably, I don't know, something like hopefully nearly 50 plus wins or 60. Yeah. So the other series is the 6th place Warriors playing the 2nd place Denver Nuggets. Once again, I think this series would go down to the wire, but you don't know. Injuries could happen. And I didn't take into effect injuries that would happen other than ones that now, like Clay. Yeah, so I've got the Nuggets beating the Warriors in the semifinals, which makes them move into the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. So for that, I just said it's the first place Lakers playing the second placed Denver Nuggets. With this series, I think this would be another series that would go down to the absolute wire, possibly Game 6 or Game 7, just because both the Lakers and the Nuggets have a good depth chart of players. Because the Nuggets have Monte Morris, I think Gary Harris might still be there. You've got Michael Porter Jr. And then the starting lineups of Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. That's all I can remember who's on the Nuggets. But I think that Lakers team will just be too strong and too experienced. So the Lakers are the Western Conference winners. We'll be back for the finals real quickly. So we have made it to the finals, which, if you're watching the predictions before, it is the first placed Nets playing the first placed Lakers from Los Angeles and Brooklyn respectively. So this is, since the start of preseason, this has probably been the projected finals matchup that we'll see at the end of the season in about June or May. Yeah. So it's going to be two powerhouses going against each other. I would say two aging lineups, because with the Nets, you've got, let me just tell you who's on the Nets at the moment. On the Nets, you've got Kyrie Irving, who hasn't played any preseason yet. And then you've also got Javon Carter, Bruce Brown, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, Patty Mills, Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, James Harden, James Johnson, Devontae Cook, Daron Sharp, LaMarcus Aldridge, Cameron Thomas, David Duke, Paul Millsap, Nicholas Claxton, and DeAndre Bembry. Which, with that team is experienced. I just don't personally see them beating the Lakers. Or am I joking? Yes, I have that Nets team beating the Lakers in a highly contested 7-game series. Yeah, so that would make the Nets the NBA champions for 2021-2022. But the Lakers can definitely pull that win out of like the shell or something. But that win is definitely doable for the Nets and the Lakers. But I have chosen the Nets to be the champions for the year. Yes, so we'll be right back. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed this kind of content from this guy right here, you can click the little red subscribe button down below, but I'm not forcing you to. Yeah, as I've said in the last 50 videos nearly, I'm not forcing you to, but I would really appreciate it, but I'm not forcing you to. So yeah, I hope to see you in the future for some more videos. Peace out.